And Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now. 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we say welcome in, and we are off. We're running another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond, and we come to you live this morning on the road. And we are live right down here on Whitesburg Drive. We are here at Bubby's Diner. The doors are open. The breakfast is being served. The bacon is smelling fresh. We are ready to go. This is the perfect place for us to be on a Friday morning. Because, number one, we get to be on the road on a beautiful day. Plenty to get through as well. But we also get to be around food for the next 2 hours. So there could not be a better place for us to be on a Friday morning than here. Because we get to smell bacon, we get to eat bacon, and we get to taste food. So what better place could we be for 2 hours?
Yep, and they have Diet Dr. Pepper, which is not a guarantee at every restaurant you go to. So,
and it's not in a 2-liter. So
no, it's not. It's not a 2-liter. We have a glass right here today. You know,
we're good.
We get free refills here. Don't need a 2-liter. Didn't need to bring a 2-liter this morning.
But it's two grown guys in a small booth.
Oh, it is. So I've already pushed the table and my chair, back quite a ways
good,
and had
though.
to fix it. So
I think we're okay.
Packing here tight, but we're feeling good, and it's certainly smelling good here at Bubby's Diner. And
yeah.
I think we've basically released the hounds because now everybody's coming into, I expect to hear somebody yell Norm here in a second.
Well, I've got my menu.
Yeah,
I have the menu in hand, and I've already narrowed down my choices this morning. I'm looking either at the
right half or left half.
Well, it's all in one page.
Oh, okay,
See, they have
there you
it. There's so many good choices.
Right.
I'm looking at the 3-egg Western omelet.
I know you're an omelet guy, yeah.
Yeah. But then I may get that, but then I also have to get the full order of French toast to go with it as well.
I got French toast at another establishment, and it was quite interesting. It cost me $38. But anyway, we talked about that yesterday.
We went through that yesterday. We know how much. Yes, I still don't believe you spent $38 at said place. But anyway, look, you can come here and get way much more for $38.
I mean, my Lord, you might be able to eat for a week.
Yeah. How about this, though? You want the donut slider, bacon, sausage, ham, or fried bologna biscuit with egg and cheese?
I had a donut slider the other day, and I will say they do hold up, Scott, because it was in my refrigerator for a day, and I warmed it up the next morning, and it was quite interesting. It was quite good.
So that is a donut with egg,
small donut,
cheese, and bacon or sausage in the middle?
It sure is. Let's just call it savory. I've watched a lot of Food Network. That's what I would call it.
All right. Well, we're live here at Bubby's Diner. We're 3 minutes into the show, and we've managed to talk about food for 3 minutes. But we got a lot of stuff to get through. Last night, though, if you are a fan of the Southeastern Conference, I don't think this comes as a surprise, but we talked about it a week ago and said that it was dead. It came out that the negotiations between Oklahoma and Texas, they had reached an agreement with the Big 12, but it was Fox and ESPN that they could not get an agreement with.
True.
But they now have worked all together. They've worked it all out, and indeed, Oklahoma and Texas have reached a deal to exit the Big 12 1 year early. They will join the SEC conference in 2024, so just this next year will be the last year. It just so conveniently is the first year for the SEC's new television rights deal. The schools will forfeit a combined $100 million in revenue to be a part of it. So the Oklahoma and Texas will be a part of it, the SEC in 2024.
Yeah, they will, and it was all about the money, all about ESPN and Fox and trying to get everything, I guess, negotiated. But, I was listening to Chip Brown of 24/7 Sports. We've had him on this show. He's been on the drive. He was on with Azar yesterday in the 12-2 window with the extravaganza with Chad Guathney. And he basically said, look, I know what Pete Thamel reported for ESPN. He reported that they had hit a snag. He said, but they're still talking. They're still negotiating, and it's all about the TV networks and ESPN and Fox, and they got it done.
Yeah.
It just took a little bit longer, but now it's all about the scheduling model. What's the SEC going to do? Is it going to be, it's going to be a 9-game schedule, it looks like. Is it going to be one common opponent, or is it going to be 3 with 6 rotating? And I like the 3 with 6 rotating, but that means Sankey will probably want the one with the 8. So you know how that goes.
I know.
Just because he doesn't ever block, Jeremy Pruitt from coming into the league. He doesn't block you freeze. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Brought to you by Acme Lie Detector.
Well, he didn't lie to us. He said that he doesn't directly tell the schools yes or no. He advises the schools.
Strongly.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's the part he leaves out.
Well,
he has to be, politically correct, I guess.
Well, but you look at the Jeremy Pruitt case, and I know we've talked a lot about it. There's just a lot of unknowns. Just too much unknown.
Well, there is too much unknown right now, I would guess, especially when you got Fatimus Maximus behind your back trying to stab you in the back for.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I wish I had a list for everybody that he'd stabbed in the back over his career. He'll pay for it later, but it's basically when you see the name scumbag in the dictionary, his picture should be by it.
All right, 256-576-4977. Feel free to reach out to us this morning. It is Talking Ball live on the road, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. One of the deals that allowed this to move forward was that Michigan and Texas were supposed to start a football series.
Yeah.
And the two now are going to play in Ann Arbor in 2024, which will let Fox broadcast the game. It was supposed to start in Texas, in Austin, and then ESPN, but now Fox will have it on 20, and Michigan will return to Texas in 2027.
Yeah. So then they won't have to put up with Joel Klatt and Gus.
Yeah. So, but I shouldn't affect Alabama and Texas next year, though,
no,
right? I don't think
that's not going to affect it. That's a 23 deal, and they'll still be coming for their SEC preview ass whipping the second week of the season. So we'll see. But that'll be Texas will. After Alabama opens with Middle Tennessee, the Reed Blankenship University. We talked a little bit about that yesterday on the show. But it'll be Texas coming to town, Sark coming back to his former employer. And so going to be interesting, but yes, it'll be a kind of an SEC preview, and it will not affect that series. And you're right, just a few little tweaks. And now I guess the next move in all these dominoes is the SEC and Sankey and all those guys getting their heads together. And they've been doing a lot of discussing, but now they're going to have to come up with the scheduling plan coming up for 24.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to lay bet on it, that the SEC wasn't sitting around saying, "Oh crap, we got to get going now."
I'm getting on Sankey about blocking coaches, but they've got this
well in the works. They knew.
Sankey knew weeks ago this was being negotiated. That it was going to be done sooner rather than later. And everybody else was pontificating about it, but I'm sure he felt confident, and they've had meeting after meeting after meeting trying to stay ahead of this thing, and I will give him credit for that.
We do know that there will be no divisions.
No, we know there's not going to be any divisions.
We know that,
and I will say this. With forethought like that and what he's done for the basketball in the SEC and who he hired to help fix that and the coaches that they brought into the league in that sport and then the way they've enhanced softball, baseball, whatever you want to call it, besides the fact of the hiring process with coaches and kind of influence that within the league, I think everything else I'd give him an A for. And his leadership as far as during the pandemic when everybody wanted to cancel everything, and he was very proactive, and yet he didn't rush things. He didn't rush out there and cancel anything. He sat back and took a long look at all of it and had a great plan. And the SEC had a football season, and so look, man, I know it wasn't like everybody wanted. You only had half full stands at best. But, hey, at least you had a season. So he's done everything else really well, and I'm sure they're prepared for this. And, I wouldn't be surprised within a month if we have a scheduling model
where
they start putting all the pieces together for those schedules in 24 going forward.
Rex Green wants to know where we are working from today.
Yeah, Bubby's Diner.
Bubby's Diner.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the old Gibson's building, but it's now Bubby's Diner, and it's outstanding. And we've we're running out of seats already.
How about this? You could get steak and eggs with hash browns, tater tots, or skillet potatoes.
Well, skillet potatoes are underrated if they're done right.
Woo, how about some steak and eggs, though, to get started on a morning?
If they've got an iron skillet back there, and we didn't go, they didn't let us in the back. But if they've got an old iron skillet, then you know they're going to be good, man.
Ooh.
Because my mom made them in an iron skillet, you know.
Ooh.
With onions.
Ooh.
A triple order.
Oh.
Grissom would know what that means.
We're just taking shots. All right, Pat from Tuscaloosa with us on a Friday. Good morning, Pat.
Great. Man, you bring me back good memories, but I like my scrambled eggs mixed into my skillet potatoes. And we just put ketchup over the whole damn thing. And
see, Pat, you had me until you said ketchup over the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I don't think Scott's a ketchup guy.
I mean, I'm good. I'm good with the eggs, the potatoes, everything all in one skillet. Just put it all in there.
Guy, Pat,
I'm all in on that. But man, you lost me at the ketchup.
Yeah, Scott's not a ketchup person.
Hey, but look, I wanted to talk about a great use of jet fuel, especially late in the process. Hey, the great use of jet fuel, Josh Jacobs winning the NFL ground game. Wow. Hey, we went to Oklahoma late in the process, and y'all realize Josh Jacobs wasn't even a running back up there. He was a Wildcat quarterback, and look what he turned into. Hey, what I'm going to call this is, what do y'all think? Is there any possibility that Hubbard winning Mr. Football? You don't win Mr. Football in the state of Mississippi 2 years hand running and not be an athlete. Is there any possibility that y'all think that Hubbard was overlooked?
First, the Jim Brown Award, the NFL handed out their awards.
Yeah.
They gave that to Josh Jacobs. And you and I, when we went to the Super Bowl in Atlanta, had a great chance. We sat down with Josh Jacobs there in Atlanta. And let me tell you, just first of all, with Josh Jacobs, phenomenal individual off the field. We had a great time with Josh.
No, he's outstanding. And like I tweeted last night, the journey continues. And it's amazing his rise, Pat, because as you know, he was a very late rising recruit. He basically was a Wildcat quarterback. At Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he came from a school that didn't turn out Division I prospects. He was trying to be hid by the New Mexico states of the world, New Mexico, Tulsa, Wyoming, but he was a big-time prospect. He got offered by Missouri. Alabama jumped in there. He went to the University of Alabama. In Oklahoma and Oklahoma State tried to offer late, but he wanted to leave the state. Alabama was kind of his dream school, and he took full advantage of it. Here's the amazing part. I don't think he ever started a game at Alabama. If he did, it was one, and he still ended up being a first-round draft choice. He's had a great career with the Raiders. He led the NFL in rushing, and as Scott was mentioning, it was the first annual Jim Brown Award where he got awarded, it's basically now that is your leading rusher. If you're the leading rusher in the NFL, you get the Jim Brown Award, and I really liked the awards program last night. They need to do that and forget all this flag football and forget all this.
The flag football is going to stay.
I know, but to me, it's just ridiculous. Just everybody get on a red carpet. Everybody, give out these awards, and I was proud for Josh. Now he's about to get paid. I mean, his rookie deal's about to run out, but he did a great job for Josh McDaniels last year. He's a huge part of the Raiders' future, you would think, and what a journey for him. Is he's a guy that was worried about his future. For a while there, we had his father on the show. They lived in a car. During his childhood. So, again, it's just pretty crazy how good he's become, and it's just awesome to see. And like Scott said, we had a chance to talk with him right after he got drafted at the Super Bowl over there in Atlanta, and what a great kid, man, and got some FaceTime with him, and it's been great to see his NFL career unfold.
Yeah, great. Hey, I'm just hoping that that Hubbard's going to be, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, Brayson Hubbard.
Story, but Hubbard, like you said, Mr. Football, 2 years hand running in Mississippi. Hey, the Mississippi produces quite a few athletes, but to win it 2 years in a row, man, you got to be pretty good.
Oh, he is. I think he's a great athlete, Pat. No doubt. I think he's a kid who's underrated. They're going to convert him to safety, it looks like, and he can run like the wind, over 6'1", really good size. And, of course, being a quarterback, very smart, understands the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side. And a little bit he played safety in high school. He made plays. But, yes, I think he's a very intriguing prospect.
All right, we've got to get to a break. Pat, hate to cut you off, but we've got to get to a break. We're a little behind. Let's get to a break this morning, and we'll pick the conversation back up live from Bubby's Diner coming up here in a minute.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They are sending a medical helicopter and 2 ambulances to that fire scene on Lott Road. That's off Thompson Road in Morgan County. Had a fully involved structure fire there with apparently a couple of injuries. 31 in Garrett Road in Athens. That one's still trying to clear. I-65 northbound at the 320s where that tractor trailer ran off in the median. They're working that one. Apparently it's going to be a no injury. Snelling needs a paralegal with experience in family law. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
2 Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. 2 Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at 2maidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. 2 Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440. Hey, Wes, we show up.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out, or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. subwoofer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the program. You can get on with us this morning. We're live this morning from Bubby's Diner, right along Whitesburg Drive. Fantastic. I mean, this place is filling up, and then there's not too many tables left. So we are cramped in a little spot so we don't take up too much space. But come on in, say hi. Enjoy some Bubby's Diner breakfast. You can get everything from eggs to French toast to pancakes to biscuits and gravy, shrimp and grits, the donut slider with bacon or sausage or ham or fried bologna. You got the breakfast croissant, the breakfast sandwich. You can get a 4-ounce breakfast burger on a croissant with egg, cheese, lettuce, and tomato, with tater tots. All kinds of great stuff here at Bubby's Diner. Coming up tonight, you do got high school basketball on our airways, but last night, probably the game so far, one of the games so far of area championship play has to belong to Hartzell and Coleman. You want to talk about a fantastic ball game? Let's set it up for you. The end of the first quarter, Coleman would lead 21-15. Okay, at halftime, the Bearcats were up on Hartzell 32-26. The end of the third quarter, Coleman was up 46-37. At the end of regulation, we were tied at 55. At the end of the first overtime, we were tied at 59, and we were just getting started. At the end of second overtime, we were tied at 62. At the end of the third overtime, we were tied at 68. And at the end, we went 4 overtimes. Coleman nips Hartzell 72-70. And at the end of the third overtime, at the end of regulation, last-second buckets actually forced both the regulation and the third overtime. So what a fantastic ball game.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think that was played over at Hartzell, and, Farron Key's squad had won the regular season and had some wars with Coleman, but they took it to another level as the defending 6A champion Coleman Bearcats, led by Stu Studeman. What a show of toughness there to go on the road, win the area tournament in 4 OTs. I saw that score last night. It just harkened me back to, Lee and Johnson playing a 4 overtime. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. It was Johnson and Butler, pardon me, because it was before Butler closed. It was, Johnson and Butler playing a 4 overtime marathon in a Huntsville City Classic final about a decade ago. There were, where it was just one of those things where we were about to have to tell the officials that everybody had to go use the restroom if somebody didn't finally win the game, and they did. And man, what a job by Coleman, 72-70 to win that game. And Farron Key's got a unique system, 1-3-1. They like to pressure, they like to shoot a lot of threes, and they had beaten Coleman down the stretch and to win that area. And for Coleman to go in there and play the way they did, play with that kind of toughness and resolve, and that's Stu's teams, man. That's what they do. It's what they did last year. I don't think they were the most talented team in 6A last year, but I think they played harder and were more well-connected than anyone else. And what a job winning the area tournament last night, and kudos to them, no question about it. And I also give a shout-out to the Sparkman Lady Senators. They defeated Huntsville High handily last night to win 7A Area 7 women's action. over at Sparkman. So there's a lot of, as you said, women's action as well.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and tonight again, there's plenty going on as well. So if you want to get out so here's your plan. Come down here and get a big old breakfast this morning at Bubba's Diner. Just get a big old breakfast. Enjoy the sunshine. Do a little bit of work wherever you got to work. And then tonight, make sure you have the app handy, the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. Make sure you have it handy. If not, just find a gym. And there's going to be plenty of high school basketball going on tonight. Now, over at Buckhorn, head coach Patrick Harding and company, they're going to entertain Lee for an area championship there in Class 6A. And then in Class 7A, Huntsville's going to take on Sparkman. Why do I bring up those two? Well, because 97.7 ESPN The Zone will have both of those games. We will have the Buckhorn Lee game on 97.7 ESPN The Zone 2, and we'll have the Huntsville Sparkman game over our airwaves on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So if you have the app, you can listen, and you can go to one game, listen to the other one, or if you can't be there in both, you can listen to them on the app. So that's why I'm saying download the app.
And here's how big that win was. Jimmy Lay listening from AL.com. He also does a great job with Westminster. Westminster going to take on West Limestone tonight over at their place to try to win the area championship.
The Coleman Hartsville one? Nasty. The loser, nasty.
Oh, it's nasty. Yeah, you've got to go travel to Pinson Valley.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Yeah.
See, because what we're explaining to you is in 7A there's only 32 teams, so there's no sub-regional. But when you win an area tournament from the 1 through the 6A perspective, you get to host the sub-regional, or you have to travel if you're the runner-up.
Yes.
Well, now Coleman gets to host, and unfortunately for Hartsville, they have to travel to Pinson Valley. Huge challenge for Farron's kids. I'm sure they're looking forward to it, but Pinson Valley is undefeated, ranked in the top 30 in America, and I saw them play against Huntsville High in the 256-205 challenge. Huntsville High lost 67-59, and it was a really tough game, but what a talented squad that Daryl Barber and those guys have.
All right, so that is some high school basketball, plenty of high school basketball coming your way here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's get a break in, because when we come back with the SEC, now we know Texas and Oklahoma coming in at 24. Which 3 permanent regular season games would you want to see Alabama or Auburn play? We know we're probably going to end up with 3. So we asked the question to you, and we'll answer it for us when we come back.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could see 60 degrees, fairly confident many of us are going to fall just shy. Dropping into the mid-30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. We're going to be talking about a little bit of rain as we head into the later part of Saturday morning and then through Saturday afternoon, even as we head into Saturday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
That wreck in Limestone County, 31 in Garrett Road, should be about ready to clear. Tractor trailer involved in an accident ran off in the median, I-65, about the 320. They're working to clear that one. And they sent 2 ambulances and a medical helicopter to that structure fire on Lott Road off Thompson Road in Morgan County. Fly Breeze nonstop to Orlando, Las Vegas, or Tampa, $49 and up. What are you waiting for? You could book today at flybreeze.com. Seriously nice. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station. Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond hanging out at Bubby's Diner along Whitesburg Drive on a beautiful, and I mean a beautiful Friday morning. I mean, if you're going to wake up and have the temperatures be in the 50s when you start your day, you know it's off to a fantastic start. We talked a little high school basketball. We've talked a lot of other stuff going on. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the program. You can get in on a Friday morning. And we talked about Texas and Oklahoma going in. We talked about the financial implications with all that and what they had to do to get out of it. But now the scheduling falls into place. And with only 3 permanent regular season games on future SEC schedules, 3 permanent regular season games. 3. That's what you have to choose from if you're Alabama, Auburn, and that's what the SEC and all these, they have to align. So if you're Alabama and you're sitting there and you're an Alabama fan, what 3 permanent regular season games do you want to see Alabama play in the future? You know Auburn is going to be one of them. Yeah. Tennessee is probably 2.
Oh, it's not, no problem. It will be.
Yeah, but what's that third one?
Well, I would imagine it's going to be LSU due to the rivalry that's developed over the years, but especially since Nick Saban came to Tuscaloosa.
Right.
But the longest history, interestingly, is Mississippi State. Because remember the Iron Bowl got interrupted for many, many years, but they played and that's the closest geographically, less than an hour away. But ironically, that may end up being one of Auburn's permanent opponents as far as Mississippi State and not Alabama. So we will see. It's going to be interesting with Auburn. I would think you would, of course, it's going to be Alabama and Georgia,
right.
And then probably Mississippi State. You would think might be Auburn's permanent, opponent. Now, Florida, they're actually closer to geographically than the Auburn Tigers, and they had a long history with the Gators until in '92 when they did split off into divisions, and then you don't play Florida nearly as much. So that's what's going to be interesting to kind of follow, Scott.
It is, and if I'm Alabama, that's a tough one. Mississippi State or LSU. Now, it's meant all Alabama and LSU over the past, would you go back just since Nick Saban has arrived?
Yeah, I mean,
Alabama and LSU has actually started meeting something.
You could even go back to 01 and even 99 because Saban was at LSU then and then playing Alabama and every year. But you could go back to the late 90s and then it spiced it up when he left briefly for the NFL and then came back to Alabama. But again, personally, if I were Alabama and LSU fans, I would want Alabama to go to Mississippi State, and then you don't play LSU every year, and it gives both teams a chance to breathe a little bit. And probably, I would say it would relieve the stress level of LSU fans because they get so worked up over the Nick Saban angle. But I still got a feeling it's going to be LSU and not Mississippi State. Though, like we've said, closest geographic,
it's Mississippi State. That is a
opponent, and the longest history, Alabama and MSU. But it would also allow MSU to not have to play Alabama every year too. So I'm not sure that they would, that Mississippi State's going to mind that.
I mean, you look at some of the other schools within the conference. I mean, you look at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee's pretty much bottlenecked in. I mean, you would imagine Tennessee will take on Vanderbilt and Alabama
and Kentucky
and Kentucky.
That would be the three I would think.
Yeah. And then what about like a Florida or like South Carolina? I mean, what do you do with those two schools? I mean, if they're three permanent opponents, I mean, Florida and Georgia are, that's one for both of those two. And I don't know what you do with the rest.
Well, I mean, with South Carolina, I would think you'd almost, when you look at it, I would think that definitely Georgia is probably going to be one of those.
Right.
I would think that one of those permanent opponents for them. They don't really have another, geographic one that you would look at and be like, okay, that's an obvious one.
Does South Carolina have like rivals? I mean, you look at South Carolina in the league, and what's a rival for South Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's going to be interesting because one of them could be Tennessee, but like we said, Tennessee's, we are already, I wouldn't think they'd be one of their permanent ones, though, because Tennessee's are pretty obvious. Alabama historically, Kentucky historically, and Vanderbilt. So that would be theirs. With South Carolina, it's almost like you'd have, I don't know. I mean, I started thinking about it the other day. Maybe Missouri, maybe a Georgia, maybe a Florida. Because in Florida, there's the underlying Steve Spurrier angle. Because Spurrier coached at both of them, and they have extensive histories of having a head coach there, both of them for over a decade, a legend in the SEC. So, and there's an extensive history of South Carolina and Florida since they came to the Southeastern Conference. But you have to understand too, now Oklahoma and Texas are going to be injected into this, and geographically, they're going to be attached to each other, and they're going to be attached to Dirt Neck.
Well, finally we get to
A&M.
Finally we're going to probably get to see Texas and Texas A&M play each other, and Texas and Oklahoma will be matched up against each other, so they'll continue that series.
LSU's probably going to be involved with those teams as well as far as permanently.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Texas doesn't have much. I mean, there's not going to be as many surprises because Texas will have Oklahoma and Texas A&M probably as two of their three permanent opponents, and then if you're Texas, you're going to probably want to play Arkansas.
Yeah.
And
I will say this, Sam Pittman's going on the record. He wants to play Texas, definitely, every year because, there's a rich history when they were in the Southwest Conference playing each other, Scott. You would think Arkansas would play Texas and Texas A&M, but we will see, no question about it. But, I mean, both those schools, as far as especially Texas and Oklahoma, they better be, getting everything polished up and buckling up because it's about to get a lot tougher in football. That's all I'm saying.
We got a message on Twitter that says completely random schedules produced by random drawings at prior season media days. Weeks 1, 2, and 7 are conference dates.
Ooh, okay. So we're playing some sort of randomizer like from the Food Network? I don't know.
Can you imagine going to SEC Media Days and be like, all right, Alabama, come forward.
Yeah, spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Oh, my God.
Here's your week 1
opponent. Drew Carey and The Price is Right. That's what you're looking. By the way, 15 years already for Drew Carey on The Price is Right. Can you believe that?
I don't like it. I don't like him on The Price is Right.
It doesn't look the same.
Well, they still haven't brought back the whole entire crowd. They still have these people sitting in these little booths-looking things, and it's not The Price is Right. I want a full people. I want people running down, yelling, and being
not the same people. I mean, it's just not. It doesn't feel the same. I tried to watch it, a couple mornings, when we're in the studio, and I'm like, this just looks totally weird. It doesn't look like The Price is Right.
It doesn't even feel like The Price is Right at all. At all. But can you imagine, though, making that like the SEC schedules and everybody comes up on media days and spins the wheel for week one, and that's going to be your opponent.
Come on down. Come on over to the stage.
Come on down. And Dirt Neck, come on down. Spin the wheel.
And you could even sponsor it with Acme Lie Detector then. You could give him the I can't yell as loud as I want to in here and disturb people's breakfast.
But you look at it, though, I mean, it's been a pretty quiet, to be honest with you. I know they got Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator.
And they've had 25 players or however many it is left.
But it's been a pretty quiet offseason for Texas A&M.
Well, when you suck, that's what happens, basically. You're just trying to hide under the radar, and he's going to keep his mouth shut because he opened it last year because he was all confident with that recruiting class they signed and thought they were going to go to the college football playoff, and they couldn't have gone to a playoff for the Price is Right. Right. Well, hey, you could have nicknamed them the Price is Right, though, because it was for some of those players, but they sucked.
Well, the Price is Right, and the Price has
been... What's the guy that was going up there, and then he followed...
I know what you're talking about. Yes, and then you would press the button, and you would stop on the Price or whatever.
And if you were right, then then you would have to hope that he didn't fall off the mountain.
What was that called?
Yeah.
I totally forget what that was called. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those were some classic games.
They were classic games. Plinko.
How about we do Klinko for an SEC schedule?
You mean Plinko?
I thought it was Klinko.
No, it was Plinko.
Plinko. We dropped a little thing down there, and whatever slot it falls in, that's who you play.
Yeah.
We can do that. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, I'm going to try to order my breakfast. I want my breakfast here at Bubby's Diner. I know what I want. I want to order it. I just need to order it. All right, we're back at Bubby's Diner. More after this. It's Talking Ball on a Friday morning.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. They were trying to clear I-65 about the 320 in Morgan County. Had a tractor-trailer run off into the median there. And we had one in Athens, 31 in Garrett Road that may still be trying to clear. Had injuries involved in a structure fire. The 200 block of Lott Road, that's off Thompson Road in Morgan County, still may be trying to get that one completed. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
All right, here we are. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, and I did place my order.
Yes, you did.
I got it placed during the break, and so I'm going to partake in my breakfast here in a little bit. I went with the Western omelet. Okay, I went with toast instead of the biscuit, but then I also went with a full order of French toast.
Yes, you did.
So I did not order the entire menu. I just ordered several things off said menu.
You certainly did, Scott.
That gives me, and now you are contemplating. But anyway, I just had to get that. I mean, Bubby's Diner is where we're at. We're having a fantastic Friday here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And before the break, we were talking about the SEC schedules and the 3 permanent opponents for Alabama and Auburn. And we just kind of threw around the idea of just standing on the stage during SEC Media Days and spinning the wheel.
For the Showcase Showdown.
Yeah. What was that, Bailey?
No, I have not.
No, not there.
Sorry, no.
No,
Why couldn't you have said, like, now Scrabble? I got that one. Life. Sorry? New Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry had a wheel. No, Sorry did not have a wheel. Life had a wheel that you spun.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
Sing My Battleship.
Ooh, Battleship. I like that one. I played that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up tomorrow, SEC basketball, Alabama, Auburn. And here's something for you to ponder if you are an Alabama fan, okay? Teams to start 11-0 in conference play while outscoring opponents by 220-plus since 1980 and 1981, okay? The 95-96 Kentucky team did it. They outscored their opponents by 244. The 1998-99 Duke team did it. They outscored their opponents by 239.
They lost to UConn in the national championship game.
Both teams, though, Kentucky and Duke, made the national championship that season. Alabama right now is at 245 in outscoring their opponents. So not saying that Alabama is going to the national championship game, but right now, the level that Alabama is playing is enough, stat-wise, to put them on par with teams that have made the national championship in college basketball.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're playing at a very high level. They eviscerated Florida 97-69, but this is going to be their toughest road test since Houston. Okay. I'm not going to say all season because
not since Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma they lost, but then that was a tough one. But I'm just talking about. I don't even know. I guess it was a loud environment and everything, and they lost the game. But I'm just saying that Oklahoma. Let's just be honest. That was Alabama's worst game of the year. Oklahoma is not going to probably even be a postseason team. If they are, it's going to be an NIT team. They're not a great basketball team. They haven't had a lot of success since they beat Alabama. So, to me, that was an anomaly. But this will be the toughest test that you saw since they went to Houston and won. Because Houston was number 1 in the country. You knew that was going to be a hornet's nest. Honestly, including myself, because I picked Alabama to win that game at OU, I didn't see that OU game, that kind of performance coming. I wouldn't have been shocked at a loss, but I certainly didn't see Alabama getting blown off the floor. Now, at Auburn, it's going to be a hornet's nest. And I'm just talking about when you looked at the schedule before the season, you knew Houston was going to be a huge test. You knew Gonzaga was going to be a huge test. And they split those 2 games in the pre-conference. But when the conference schedule opened, this was going to be one of Alabama's toughest games because Neville Arena is a raucous environment. Right. The rivalry is huge, and so it's going to be, even though Auburn's lost 4 out of 5, Auburn still, it's been a lot of narrow losses, a lot of one-possession losses, and so they're still a quality team and an NCAA tournament team, so it's going to be a big test for Alabama.
You mentioned Oklahoma not having success after playing Alabama. Oklahoma has lost their last 3 ball games. Neither one of those 3 ball games, the losses were 10 points or fewer. They lost to Oklahoma State 71-61.
That's right.
Lost to West Virginia 93-61, and then lost to Baylor 82-72. They have not had a close loss since beating Alabama, and going into that Alabama game, they had lost 3 in a row. And only one of those was close, and that was a 62-60 loss to Baylor. So you take away that Alabama game, and Oklahoma has lost 6 in a row. With the Alabama game, they're 1-6.
Yeah, so they're not a very good basketball team. So
look at this.
Right now.
I get treated. This is.
I hope you can fit it all.
This is all mine. Yeah, this is going to one place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm getting.
And you're getting first-class service here.
I just need some silverware here. That would be good. Yeah, look at this. I mean, they thought you got the French toast and the omelet.
Well,
they thought you got one of the 2.
I guess I'll be doing the interviews. You'll be eating. So.
All right. No, I'm going to be doing. I can do it all. I got to make sure I get a picture of this. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean,
by the way,
this is what I get to wake up to.
Our esteemed guest and sometimes co-host and avid listener Freddie Kirby, he did text in and he told us, and that is what it was called. It was called cliffhangers when you fall off the.
Was it called cliffhanger?
Yeah, when you fell off the. But you remember it was you could hear the yodeling. And then if they kept yodeling, and then all of a sudden you heard the dun 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 dun, you know he fell off the cliff.
I always loved when they got to putt, when they brought the little putting thing out, and you got to make a putt.
Usually trying to win a car.
Yeah, but you had to guess
how long the putt was.
We had to guess the prize, and if you got the prize, if you got the little thing right, or how much things were, you got to get closer and closer and closer to the hole. Remember?
Right.
And then if you didn't get any right, you were putting from a long distance.
And then there was even a few times during my childhood that Carmelo Montgomery happened, and I'm talking about from way downtown.
All right, we got Brandon on the phone line. We got a couple phone calls. Let's get to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
Man, they used to have a game on there called Cover Up.
Cover Up?
Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee would play that to determine their schedule. That would be what they would do.
Well, yeah, that'd be Philip Fulmer's favorite.
And they had another one called Danger Price. I remember that. That you would have to pick out, I think it was, you had to pick a price on something and it had to match 4, but there was one price that was wrong. And if you got that price wrong, you got it all wrong. That would be what A&M would do. They would play Danger Price to determine their schedule.
Okay.
See, I don't remember all of the games. I remember some of those games on Price is Right because I would watch it, quite a bit.
I remember the dice game.
Oh, I always loved. Oh, yeah, yes,
yeah.
And I remember if you got within $100 of the showcase price, you won both showcases.
That is, it very rarely
happens. You couldn't go over.
Yeah,
you couldn't go over.
You can't go over, yeah.
Well,
and if you both went over, neither one of you won.
And you were talking about doing it under Drew Carey, and you don't like it. Well, I'll say this much. When Bob Barker was on there, his assistants on that show were so hot that there was a
Barker's Beauties
journal. Yeah, there was a monthly men's journal that featured them because they were so hot, but that has not happened under Drew Carey.
No. That is
not. We
not.
had to rest a little bit.
No doubt about that. You are right.
Oh, well. And we haven't got him more with Betty White over Ellison Cedar, but y'all talking about the schedule. I really do want LSU more than Mississippi State, and a lot of that is because Leach ain't here no more. I love Leach.
Right.
When he was around, I would have loved to have him as a permanent fixture because he was so entertaining. I mean, him taking and folding all those chairs up and telling his wide receivers they couldn't sit down, that was beautiful mic relief right there. That was worth watching a football game for. But with him gone, let's just take LSU.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate the call, brother. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, let's go to Johnny on his cell real fast. Good morning, Johnny.
Johnny, what's up?
Hey, guys. So the team that gets Vanderbilt on their schedule is double showcase winner.
Well, you know that's Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's probably going to end up with Vanderbilt.
But two people are going to get them, right? I mean, two other teams are going to get them as the permanent.
Yeah.
They're like, that's like winning the double showcase. All right, now, the only way Auburn beats Bama Saturday is if the referees let them play it without, bang us around without calling fouls. Because they can, if it's a game of, of just pure basketball where you're going down the court and you got to defend and without fouling, Bama will rip a hole in them. Because when this team is focused, and they're going to be focused going into this ball game, just like when they're down 16 at Houston on the road, these cats are cool and they know it. I mean, they get after it. So the only way Auburn can win this game is to get a game like they had at Tennessee and just drop the crap out of us and, foul and not get calls. The referees swallow their whistles. Auburn's got a fighting chance. But if this game gets to where they're up and down, they don't have the offensive firepower to hang with us. And we're winning basketball games by 3 touchdowns. This Alabama team's a different animal that's ever been put on the court. And it's a great team to watch, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this season.
I think everybody is, man. And it's a great time to be a basketball fan of the state of Alabama. A lot of great college basketball, a lot of great high school basketball, and it should be a great atmosphere over at Neville Arena, no doubt, Johnny.
Yeah, students have already been camping out there.
Yeah,
They've got about 25 that have camped overnight just to get in for tomorrow already.
Yeah.
Down there at Auburn College game days.
Yeah, my son's the Crimson White editor for basketball, and he's going to be there. He was also at Houston, so he's going to compare the crowds for me.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for the phone call, Johnny. Hour 1 of Talking Ball live from Bubby's Diner is in the books. I've got my food to eat. This is unbelievable. Beautiful start to the day. Beautiful start.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Super Bowl Sunday is upon us. The Chiefs and Eagles square off in Glendale, Arizona this Sunday. Patrick Mahomes named the AP NFL Most Valuable Player. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott took home the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year award. As far as the game this Sunday, Philadelphia remains a 2-point favorite. The Chiefs plus 108 on the money line, the over-under 51. Kansas City 7-11-1 against the spread. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are the favorites to win the Super Bowl MVP award, both at plus 130. Travis Kelce plus 1,600. A.J. Brown plus 1,800. Kickers Jake Elliott and Harrison Butker both plus 28,000.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're live this morning from Bubby's Diner right along Wrightsburg Drive here in South Huntsville. Let me tell you, I can tell you, the Western omelet is on point right now, and so is the toast. Haven't gotten to the French toast yet, but the Western omelet and the hash brown casserole are on point, and this is all just kind of giving me fuel to get through the day, okay? Because tonight I'll be over at Huntsville High with Steve Moulton, and we're going to have the Huntsville Sparkman game for you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So this is just going to get me through to tonight. That's all I'm doing. I am pre-gaming for high school basketball tonight, and I am already starting at 7:30 this morning. I'm getting ready for tonight.
I will say that's the fastest I think I've ever seen an omelet eaten almost.
It's almost, I just got a couple
three-quarters of the way gone, but certainly Scott's putting it away over here at Bubby's Diner, and we're excited about that. We're super excited about this 7A Area 7 championship game. Two best teams in this area. 5th year in a row they're gonna face off since this next guest has been at Huntsville High School, and that's of course Christian Swears. They're coming off a 64-42 win over the Albertville Aggies, and we saw the epic finish. You saw it on social media. You heard the call from our own Austin Coletti as Sparkman wins at the buzzer over the Grissom Tigers. So we're going to have an unbelievable matchup tonight. And just a few short days ago, they had a great matchup at Huntsville High, a 51-47 Panther win. So it's going to be a lot at stake tonight for this 7A Area 7 championship. And Christian Swears, the head basketball coach of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, who's probably very hungry right now listening to us talk about food, is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Coach.
Man, good morning, Scott and Drew. I'm thinking about calling my boss to see if I can swing by Bubby.
You guys need to swing by, man. I'm telling you.
It is fantastic. I mean, it is. I'm just going to say it's good. And I'm not lying.
No, he's not. In between bites.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been there a time or two. Pretty good place. Coach's cake is pretty good also.
Yes, it is. Very good. It's very good, and no question about it. And your team was really good the other day. I mean, it's always interesting in postseason play, Coach, and you've been around it with your father, Captain Jack Swears, late Hall of Fame coach, and he won a state championship. You won, several state titles with the great Bucky McMillan at Mountain Brook. But postseason play is always different. I've always said certain coaches just know how to prepare their teams for it because it's different when it's win or go home in the first round. It always is an area play. A little bit of a slow start for your guys the other day, offensively putting the ball in the basket, but rebounding and defense is always a staple, and you guys did a great job of that against Albertville on Wednesday.
Yes, I thought, that first-round game, there's always a little bit of nerves there early on, particularly if you're the home team. And we played through that. I thought that the film looked better than it felt in person. I thought we did a really good job defensively and did a really good job on the glass. I think we doubled them up on the glass, and so that's kind of a focal point of ours, game in and game out. And we need to do that really well tonight to hold off a hot Sparkman team.
Yeah, Coach, when you come into these area games, these area tournament games, it's about familiarity. I mean, how do you prepare for a Sparkman team, or how do you prepare for a team that you've seen so many times. You watched them play in the Classic. You've seen them twice during the regular season. It's this way every year. It's not anything new. But how tough is it to prepare for a team and convince 16, 17-year-old kids to focus again on a team for a third, fourth time?
Well, I mean, I'm with you on all that. We're focused on Sparkman, no doubt. But, like, our thing from day one 5 years ago, and it's been true since then, is it's just always about us in terms of the standard that we play to. We're not playing to our opponent's standard. And, there's obviously a level of scouting and scheme and all that stuff and being familiar with other teams' personnel. But at the end of the day, like, you got to be good at what you're good at, and you're only good at what you emphasize. And so we're trying to just continually be good at the things that we want to emphasize. And at the same time, like, yes, we've played Sparkman twice, but, teams change over the course of 30 games. And I think their team has changed significantly. They were one of the highest teams in the state, playing a certain way the first half of the year. And then they struggled a little bit in January, didn't quite play the same way. Personnel was a tad different in terms of who was playing a lot. And now I think they're playing a little bit differently now. So the trap is you think you're playing the same team because it's the same as school and players and whatnot, but their team has changed, just like our team has changed over the course of the season. And so you have to kind of be prepared for what they've been doing lately. And teams typically adjust. The ones that are good, they adjust throughout the year to what they're good at in their personnel. And Coach Coggins does that year in and year out. And so it's no secret that's why they're in the area championship every year, and we have close games with them late in the year each of the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, they're really a long team, a great defensive team, and Coach, you don't see this often when you have a team with 10 seniors as well. They're a very, very old, experienced team.
They are, and that maturity absolutely helps in high school basketball, and I think it's one of the strengths of their team. And you saw that the other night in the Grissom game, just how they would not fold, and they never played to a school board. They just kept playing each play and play with great effort and intensity, and they gave themselves a chance. And when you do that, sometimes it can come down to one play. And I know we've been on the right side of things like that over the last few years, and Sparkman was on the right side of that equation the other night.
Well, then you look at tonight, Coach, and then, kind of lay it out for us. How do you attack Sparkman? What do you do? How do you get your team in the right position to win?
Well, they shoot the three so well, and that's kind of been a deal of theirs here in some of these big games this year, is they just shoot it so well. I mean, they came out and hit several threes in the first half the other night. I think their first six field goals were threes. And then the last 4 field goals of the game were threes. So we got to guard the three well, and I think we got to use our size advantage. I think we got to control tempo, and it's not a lot different. Team that makes the fewest mistakes probably wins. Teams that control the glass usually win, and teams that can make free throws usually win. And so that's kind of the same formula. But we'll be sticking to what we normally do and be who we are, and we're enjoying playing at home for the area championship again.
Question about that, and Coach, I'm glad you brought up how teams evolve and change, and certainly yours has over the course of this season. You were able to get J.D. Gossett back for the Huntsville City Classic, and he has gotten better as the year has gone on. He does so many things that besides score. Now, he's certainly capable of it. We saw in that Sparkman win at home, I think he had a game-high 15, but he does so many other intangible things defensively with deflections, steals, offensive rebounds, guarding the other team's best player. He's such a key cog. And then we've also seen 2 young sophomores, and really 3 in my opinion, that have really made your team deeper and much more dangerous. We saw Eli Stapler make a huge 3, and he's really shot the ball well the last month. And then I thought in the game, in this past game, Braden Rivers was tremendous on the offensive glass, tremendous taking the ball to the rim, and, of course, Josh Bowman, the young sophomore. You have some younger guys that have really matured as the season has gone on, and it's made you a much more dangerous team heading into this game tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, talking about JD, he's such a winner, and you know, there's each team that's really good that go deep in playoffs. I don't care what sport it is. They got guys that are glue guys that do things that impact winning at all times, and JD is the ultimate glue guy. Like, if there was a first-team All-State glue team, he's the first guy picked. He's so good at what he does, and he just fills the stat sheet up. He's never going to probably go for 30, although he probably could if he needed to, if that's what the game called for. But we had to live without him for 14 games, and we weren't completely ourselves. And once we got him back, things started kind of clicking again, and we've been a different team since the turn of the year because of him. Speaking about those three sophomores, that was the hope. You know, it doesn't always work out that way, but that was the hope when we made the decision last year to bump all those guys up to varsity as freshmen, knowing they would take lumps, knowing they wouldn't be ready, knowing they would get exposed, knowing they might even hit a wall and not get out of it last year. And it's paid off because they have played with such maturity this year and have really played well when they've needed to play well. I think that all three have contributed greatly here recently, and you know, if we're going to make this deep postseason run, we'll be counting on those guys.
No question about it. You'll definitely be counting on them. And Coach, I know it's not reinventing the wheel. As Scott already mentioned, you guys have seen Sparkman twice. You also watched them throughout the season and watched them win their second straight Huntsville City Classic championship. And the one thing is, there's not as much pressure in this game. You certainly want to win it. You certainly want to repeat as area tournament champions. But you know you're already going to the regionals at Jacksonville, so you're also trying to work on your game and polish things up. I know you said the film looked much better when you watched it against Albertville. I thought the team played with great kinetic energy defensively and rebounding. But again, you're not giving away the game plan. But as you try to beat Sparkman for a third time in a program of that caliber, what's going to be the keys you're looking for tonight for your team in order to beat someone of the caliber of a Jamie Coggins Senator squad?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's got to start on the defensive end. I think that we've got to play with great intensity from each possession to possession and do whatever the game plan's called for. If that's, you know, whatever the full court press is, or if we're zone, if we're man, like we've been multiple all year. And so being able to do that and stick to game plan with great intensity, I'd say that's number one. Number two, can we control the tempo war? You know, can we play fast when we need to? Can we slow them down when we need to? And then number three, let's make winning plays at all times, and let's see where that ends up. That's kind of what I talked about yesterday in the locker room, is just let's make winning plays. And I described what those were, and I said, you know, we do all that. Let's see what happens there at the end in the fourth quarter in our gym, going for an area championship. And you know, I know the guys are excited. That's one good thing about playing a team you're familiar with, is that there's not a lot of guesswork here. Both teams are familiar with each other, and it's going to be kind of going and playing and who makes the most winning plays, who can limit mistakes.
Well, Coach, let's talk about the defense. You mentioned defense. Obviously, you've been real happy, though, with the defensive effort down the stretch, latter half of the season.
I have. I think that, you know, our team typically is good defensively, but it's different, you know, depending on what type of personnel we got. And this year we're much longer than we've ever been, and so we've tried to use that to our advantage and, you know, be able to play with length, whether it be man and zone. And I think that once we figured out our identity defensively, that was probably midway through the year, I think things kind of shifted for the better, and it didn't even really matter if we were making or missing shots. It just, we were able to rely on the defensive end of the floor, whereas in other games earlier this year, particularly these close losses we've had against really good teams early in the year, we weren't able to rely on our the defensive end of the floor. And I think that's been the biggest change from the first half to the second half of the year.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great showcase tonight, too, Coach. I mean, we're going to have 97.7 The Zone doing it on the radio. There's going to be TV coverage from MeTV as well. It's going to be covered from every angle, and it goes back to your mantra, and I know you were talking about it when 97.7 The Zone was broadcasting the Huntsville City Classic, but it's just different up here, and we're going to see that tonight, and we're going to see two great programs showcased, two outstanding coaches, two great cultures. It's going to be fun to be a part of.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that. I wanted to bring that up. I mean, this game tonight has been picked up. It's going to be on three different TV networks that will go throughout the state. And Heights Hoops, Bart Heights is coming. The game will be on WOTM, which will go throughout the state, not in the Huntsville area, but it'll go throughout the rest of the state. As you mentioned, ETV will be broadcasting the game as well through their feed. And then lastly, yesterday, Alabama Public Network picked up the game, and so that will go throughout the entire state. And so I say all that to say that, we want everybody to come to the game, we want a huge crowd, but that's what these programs and these kids, they deserve that. And when you have sustained success, they deserve to be put on display. And so I'm excited for the kids of both teams who will get to play in this game and showcase their abilities and their culture. And, it should be a fun night. It was wild yesterday. As soon as practice ended, I'm dealing with multiple production guys and trying to make sure everybody's squared away in the gym and just trying to take care of a lot of those loose ends because it should be a fun night. I think we have the best gym in the state to watch a basketball game, and so I encourage all the listeners out there to come on. The game is at 7. I would encourage everybody to get there much earlier than that, as last year the line was literally out to the parking lot until the end of the first quarter for the fans to get in. And so we want to not see that again tonight. We want everybody to be able to see the game. And so I encourage everybody to come out, try and get there around 6:30, get you a good seat. Concession stand will be open early. Should be a fun night of high school basketball.
It really should, Coach, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck. Thank you, as always, for being kind with us and joining us this morning, but it's going to be a great environment. Good luck to the Panthers tonight, and we really appreciate your time.
Guys, thank you all for having me on, and thank you for what you do for high school sports.
Appreciate
it. Coach. All right, we got to get a break in. More Talking Ball when we return live from Bubby's Diner.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of new accidents now. Meridian and Chase is reported with an injury, and they got one in Athens at Forest and Jefferson. I don't think anybody's hurt there. Still got cleanup activity going on Lott Road in Morgan County. That's off Thompson Road. Had a structure fire there with injury. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write this name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue, where they have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The college basketball regular season is winding down, and the football specials at Humphrey's Bar and Grill are now going to extend into basketball season with football specials during every Auburn and Alabama basketball game. Don't miss Humphrey's game day specials from $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light Pints, $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. Anytime Auburn or Alabama is on the screen, Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortandSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
As we flip that calendar into February, a lot of things happening. You got Valentine's Day, you got the Madness of March, and you've got tax season all around the corner. Thomas from Talent Heating and Air is in studio with us to remind us, Thomas, you don't want to forget about your heating and air system as well.
Yeah, that's right. During tax season is a great time to look at upgrading your system or making a repair maybe you've been putting off. We're going to help you out with that. We're going to do a $1,000 discount if you mention this ad and give you a little bit of an extra rebate this tax season.
And you also want to make sure it is tuned up and ready to go for that spring season.
Yeah, spring in Alabama can be 90-degree days, right? So we want you to be ready for that ahead of time, so you can give us a call, and we're going to do a $49 special for all the listeners of this.
All right, that phone number?
It is 256-503-4490.
It's Talent Heating and Air's $49 tune-up special. Give them a call today.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This is a short segment. Joe Lunardi's released his latest bracketology about 22 minutes ago he did. And good news if you are Texas A&M and the Aggies, you are now the last four in. The last four in as of right now, New Mexico, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. Your first four out, Memphis, Wisconsin, Oregon, and Seton Hall. The next four out, Utah State, Charleston, Wake Forest, and Florida. Alabama holding on to a number 1 seed. Tennessee has fallen down to a 2 seed. And I'm looking it over right now just to see where Auburn is. The SEC has 7 teams in right now, according to Joe Lunardi. And Auburn is sitting at a 9 seed, trending down, though. It's the first time we've seen the down arrow for the Auburn Tigers. All right, we got to get a break in. When we come back, Nathan King will join us.
Yes, he will, to talk some Auburn. Huge basketball game on the Plains, and we'll get Nathan King's thoughts from Auburn 24/7 next here live from Bubby's Diner on Talkin' Ball on this Friday.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could see 60 degrees, fairly confident many of us are going to fall just shy. Dropping into the mid 30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. We're going to be talking about a little bit of rain as we head into the later part of Saturday morning and then through Saturday afternoon, even as we head into Saturday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a couple of new accidents now. Meridian and Chase is reported with an injury, and they got one in Athens at Forest and Jefferson. I don't think anybody's hurt there. Still got cleanup activity going on Lott Road in Morgan County. That's off Thompson Road. Had a structure fire there with injury. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write this name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue, where they have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There we go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. We are live this morning at Bubby's Diner along Whitesburg Drive down here in South Huntsville, and a fantastic way to start the day with a little breakfast in the belly from Bubby's Diner. Yes, the omelet is gone, the 2 pieces of French toast is gone, the hash brown casserole, the 2 pieces of toast, it's all gone. And there's room for more, but I'm not going to go there. I mean, I could eat a whole nother round, but I'm good. I'm just going to hold off and be
about
good.
that.
All right. Anyway, we mentioned earlier in the show that the students are already camping out down there outside of Neville Arena, waiting to get into tomorrow's contest between Alabama and Auburn. It's the first of 2 meetings, the first one taking place inside Neville Arena. And we've talked a lot about Alabama's perspective. Auburn's perspective, I think the recipe is simple. They've got to get good guard play, and they've got to be able to shoot the ball. Against Tennessee, they just didn't shoot the ball very well. Guard play was okay, but that's kind of been a trend for Auburn this year.
Well, Jonah Broom has been really good lately. Been one of the best bigs in the league, and certainly if Wendell Green Jr. plays well, Auburn is going to be tough. I think Jalen Williams is the unsung hero, and we've seen also Alan Flanagan stepping up as well. This is still a really good Auburn team. They're losing by 1 to 2 possessions. It's a very small margin for error that, they could have had 2 or 3 games go a different way, and they would be in the top 15 in the country, which they have been for much of this season. So it's going to be as tough a challenge that Alabama's faced all year, no doubt about it. I don't think they'll be flat like they were against Oklahoma, certainly for this game, but I think it's going to be a great matchup, and we're going to talk about it now with a guy that does a great job covering the Auburn beat, football, basketball, for Auburn Undercover and Auburn 24/7, and that's Nathan King. Good morning, Nathan. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning. I don't feel like I have to say that much anymore. You guys just did a great job of I think a lot of Auburn fans need to hear that past 60 seconds that y'all just talked about. That was a great job of summarizing things so far, I think.
Yeah, talk about it going into Saturday with Alabama. I mean, I look at Auburn, I watch them play, and I think I have them figured out. And then the next time I watch them play, and I'm kind of going, well, I thought I had them figured out.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very prototypical good, not great college basketball. When you talk about some of the inconsistencies, some of the best teams in the country, some of the teams that are in the top 10. Certainly Alabama, which looks all the part of the best team in the country. That's what Bruce Pearl said yesterday. Certainly you're going to get a lot more consistency like that. You guys mentioned some of the factors so far, guys like John Broom, guys like Wendell Green. Those are going to be the guys who sort of drive it every single night for Auburn. But the biggest thing has been their defense. That's why they've had a chance in a lot of these games. You go back to their opportunity at West Virginia when they were down by 18, came back, and like you guys mentioned, they've been losing these games by 1 or 2 possessions. They come back and only lose by 3. It's because they played spectacular defense in the second half. They go to Tennessee, they go to Knoxville, and Tennessee's got the best defense in the country. Auburn didn't look too far behind in that game. I mean, they had spectacular defense, and that gave them an opportunity to beat the Volunteers on the road. Of course, they came up just 1 shot short with a no call there at the end. A couple more shots gone in, and they would have won that game. And then recently against Texas A&M, like you mentioned, the defense sort of faltered in that game, and that was probably the reason why they weren't able to get the road win there in College Station. Like Bruce Pearl said afterwards, you score 78 points on the road in the SEC. That needs to be good enough to win ball games. Instead, this is just an inconsistent team right now. It's like you guys mentioned, it's a team that was in the top 15, was in the top 20 for most of the season. Just ended up being unranked for the first time all season this week with Alabama coming to town. But they've still got a lot of opportunities ahead of them. They have, I believe, the end of January, they have the toughest remaining strength of schedule in the country outside of the Big 12, and they're right behind every team in the Big 12 because the Big 12 just has to go beat up on each other. And so it doesn't get any easier down the road. Of course, that starts with a game against Alabama, but you think, for Auburn's NCAA tournament chances, they've got to jump up and fight one of these teams at some point. One of these games, like you guys mentioned, one of these games has to flip in their direction at some point, or else it's going to get pretty stressful down the stretch. But you got to think they'll get one sooner or later, and certainly getting one at home against your biggest rival in one of the best seasons it's ever having would be a massive win.
Well, it would be, and let's not misunderstand, Auburn is still very, very good in Neville Arena. They've only lost 1 game in the last couple of years. They had the longest home court winning streak snapped by Texas A&M just a couple of weeks ago, but they're still very, very good at home, no question about it. That's why it's going to be so tough on Alabama. I expect Auburn to come out with energy and start strong. Alabama's going to have to match that. They didn't against Oklahoma, and it snowballed on them because I expect Auburn to be ready to play. I know they'll play. Yeah, I know that it'll be kinetic, and you've been in the Auburn Arena, Neville Arena, many times. It's going to be off the wall. There's already students camping out, so certainly it's going to be a great environment. And I'm happy for the state of Alabama, Nathan, because of College Game Day being there, and it's not for football; it's for basketball.
Absolutely. They didn't have College Game Day during the during the COVID season, 2020-21. They didn't go on the road, and so they had it. Three seasons Auburn has had College Game Day on their campus for basketball. 3 straight seasons going back to the 2020 season. They had them on campus last year for Texas A&M, and then going back to 2019-2020, they had them for Kentucky. And so Auburn's only one of 2 teams in the country that's had that. That's had them 3 3 seasons in a row, and the other team is Duke. So that's like you mentioned, that's a pretty big deal. And Bruce Pearl talked about it yesterday. This rivalry, and I think those two. Now, obviously, everybody knew about Bruce Pearl and the success he had at Tennessee. So when he came to Auburn, you're thinking, okay, maybe he can get a rebuild done here. But when Nate Oates came to Alabama, you were looking at the possibilities that could happen there. And Bruce Pearl has been high on him for years. He told us when he got hired, he was like, this guy's about to make my life really hard. He is a really good coach. And so we're sort of seeing that come to fruition where this is going to be an awesome rivalry for the foreseeable future in college basketball in the state of Alabama. It has been for the past couple of years. I mean, these have been, for as good as Alabama is right now, they won 2 SEC titles a couple of years ago. They've been to the tournament. It's going to be their 3rd straight year in the NCAA tournament, I believe. And so, also something to note, guys, that would just be crazy if Alabama does win the regular season title this year, which they're steamrolling toward that right now. 4 of the last 7 SEC regular season championships are going to come from the state of Alabama, and that goes to show the product in the league right now. Auburn and Alabama are certainly, every single year you're going to look at those 2 teams and say, yep, it's probably a pretty safe bet to say they'll be in the top 4, top 5 of the league. And so it's an awesome rivalry, and like you said, with Neville Arena, look, there were already kids camping out last night. They're starting early. It's just kind of crazy. I think they went to the women's basketball game against South Carolina, and then they went outside and started pitching their tents. And so, as you guys know, that atmosphere is just going to be incredible. It's great for the sport. Yeah. It's great for the SEC, and I personally can't wait to get into the arena on Saturday and see what these Auburn fans have ready for Alabama, because they know how big of a game this is, and they'll be really excited for it.
Well, Nathan, if you're riding on Saturday night and you're riding an Auburn victory, what do you think your synopsis would be if Auburn comes away a winner? How do you think this one would ride out?
Well, I think you can't bank on, we just talked about Auburn's defense, and certainly that's the reason that they, that's kind of the baseline for this team, is how good of a defense they are, and how good they have been for the past couple of years. But I don't think you can ride on that in this matchup in particular. You look at that game at Oklahoma that you guys talked about. Oklahoma played good defense in spurts, but it was the fact that they were making shots. They were shooting 64% with 5 minutes left in the game. Obviously, you can't ask Auburn to do that. But offense, I think, is the bigger point here. I struggle to think this isn't going to be a high-scoring game, just because you look at what Alabama does. I mean, they're downright unstoppable on offense. They have one of the best offenses in modern college basketball history. They can get scoring from all 5 spots on the floor. Bruce Pearl talked about it yesterday. They have 3 playmaking guards in Bradley, Quinterly, and Mark Sears, and they'll put 2 of those guys on the floor at the same time. He said, imagine if we could have 3 Wendell Greens with different sizes. Imagine if we could have 3 of those guys on the floor at the same time to play make for us. And so, it's been downright unstoppable. And then, on top of that, you might have the best, 18-year-old in the country, and Brandon Miller playing for them, who's going to be a top 5 NBA draft pick. And so, I think offense is the biggest key. You look at Auburn's most recent home game against Georgia. Of course, very different competition, but that game, Auburn scored 94 points there, and they shot really high percentages, and they only turned it over 5 times. That led to the highest individual offensive rating per KenPom for a game in the Bruce Pearl era. That was the best offensive game Auburn's ever played under Bruce Pearl, and they turn right around the next game and score 43 points at Tennessee, talking about some of the inconsistencies that y'all mentioned earlier. So they have to have an efficient performance. It starts with taking care of the basketball. This is an Auburn team that, when they slow it up on offense, they're starting to figure stuff out in the half court. The inside-out game between Wendell Green and Kenai Broome has been pretty consistent. And when they limit their turnovers, which actually they've done a really good job of in SEC play, I think they only had 9 at Tennessee. They only had 5 in that game against Georgia. They're really not they're not a turnover machine this season. And when they can hold on to the ball, especially at home, and when they can make shots, they're pretty dangerous out. And so, they don't need to rely on the 3 ball, because I think they're 340th nationally in 3-point shooting. They'll make some of them, but really I think it's going to be holding on to the ball and doing what they've done the past few games, and that's withstand the opposition, because they've had some tough runs. I mean, like I mentioned, they were down 18 at West Virginia. They were down 8 late against Tennessee, and against Tennessee that feels like a mountain of a deficit. They're going to go down in this game. The Alabama will take the lead several times in this game. Alabama might have, a 12-point lead in the second half or something like that. But Auburn's been unfazed recently. This is a team with a lot of juniors and seniors. It's an experienced squad. But even right now, they've lost 4 or 5 games. They're not blinking. right now. Bruce Pearl said yesterday, we're not a desperate team. I think we're a team that's playing really, really well. We just have to play a little bit better to start winning these games. And so those are a couple of my factors. And then I think when you're talking about a team that doesn't need to blink, in the face of the best team in the country, that home crowd is going to help you out a lot. I don't know what's going to happen when Auburn goes to Tuscaloosa later this year, but teams are just getting annihilated inside Coleman Coliseum. Auburn's got to take advantage of this home crowd because, like Bristol said yesterday, not every day you get the best team in the country coming to your home floor, especially when College game day comes to town. And so they'll be ready for it. And again, should be just an awesome atmosphere and an awesome game.
Yeah, one of the big storylines, too, is going to be Noah Clowney's health. He had a facial injury the other day. I don't think it was a concussion, so they're hoping to have him available and, of course, to help with Jonai Broom because Jonai is a beast. But Dylan Cardwell has, I think, been an under-the-radar, really productive player for Auburn. He's back from COVID, so he'll be back. And so Auburn, they've got Trey Donaldson. And Auburn's going to need some of that depth because Alabama is a very, very deep squad.
Yeah, you're right. Auburn plays its best, which I feel like most teams probably do. Auburn plays its best, but it can get a little bit of production from its bench. They were hoping for more this season. They've got a couple 5-stars, Yohan Traore and Chance Westry, a couple 5-star freshmen. They haven't done anything. Chance Westry has barely played all year because he had that preseason knee surgery. Seems like he's going to redshirt now. He hasn't dressed out the past few games. And then Yohan Traore, he's a big. He'll give you 7 minutes a game, usually doesn't score, and usually grabs like 1 rebound. He's not aggressive. They don't ask him to do anything. And so, that's not a knock on either of those guys. And both those guys are probably going to be great players in the future because they have so much talent. But, yeah, I mean, it's getting a few shots here from Trey Donaldson, getting a couple offensive rebounds from Dylan Cardwell. Chris Moore, who started most of the season at that 3 spot, now Alan Flanagan is the starter. He's a hustle player. Get an offensive rebound from him. Get a 3-pointer from him off an offensive rebound, which they almost had at Tennessee, and it went as far down as a shot I've ever seen. It doesn't go in the basket. It rattled in and out about 7 or 8 times. But you're exactly right. You guys know when you look at these big games in the past, and when you're a team like Auburn trying to pull the upset, at the end of the day, those are the kind of plays that matter. Those are the kind of plays that you look back on and say, hey, remember with 5 minutes left when Bama was up by 6 and Dylan Cardwell, got a grown man offensive rebound, put it back up, plus the foul. Now they're only down 3. Things like that, sequences like that, and that comes from every spot on the floor. And if you're Auburn, you've got to be confident in saying, this is a deep lineup. It's not a lineup that plays well from top to bottom all the time, but it is a lineup where you've gotten good performances from it. I mean, every single guy in that lineup has had a good game or two this season. And even the freshman point guard, like Trey Donaldson, has had some really big games this year. And so, a full, healthy lineup for Auburn is exactly what you want in this game. And I think you're exactly right. I think they need 10, 15-plus bench points in this game if they're going to get a win because, like you mentioned, Alabama is just so deep and is able to get scoring from everywhere in their lineup.
And then another big thing, too, Nathan, is they got some huge recruiting news in the last several days. They get the best player in the state of Alabama, regardless of class, in my opinion, LeBaron Philon. I got a chance to see him several times, including up close here at the Huntsville City Classic. Dominant player. And now, of course, they get his backcourt mate as well from New Jersey, and they've got Peyton Marshall coming in this weekend. They've got some star power going to be at the Auburn Arena / Neville Arena for this epic matchup with College Game Day in town tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got an awesome backcourt pairing for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we watched LeBaron Philon last week in Mobile, and he didn't have the best shooting night, but man, that's a really fun player. And so, both these teams are just recruiting like crazy, and that's why this rivalry is going to be healthy for a long time.
I believe tonight, don't you get gymnastics as well? Isn't LSU in town as well, just to throw something else at everybody to go watch?
Right. 3 straight days. You get number 1 South Carolina coming to town last night, which, what they did to Auburn, they do to pretty much everybody. Number 9 LSU tonight. You get a bunch of star power on both sides. It's going to be an awesome meet. And then number 3 Alabama on Saturday. So hey man, if you were perched out in the rafters of Neville Arena somehow and that was your home base, you'd be sitting pretty over the past 72 hours.
Wow. No question. Well, great stuff, Nathan. We always appreciate your time. We know you're busy. Let everybody know how to connect with you guys' coverage over at Auburn Undercover.
Yeah, for sure. AuburnUndercover.com, like you mentioned. Really excited. We're going to be at College Game Day in the morning, taking videos and taking it all in, and then obviously going to have coverage of tomorrow's game, which we're really excited for. So AuburnUndercover.com, and you can find me on Twitter at NathanKing247.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
Y'all, that'd be good.
All right, good stuff there from Nathan King, and
it's going to be crazy, man.
We got to get a break in. We're going to wrap it up from Bubby's Diner. It smells good. All right, we got to get a break in. Wrap it all up. Tomorrow's headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck coming out of Decatur at 6th and Prospect. That one may have a minor injury involved. They just cleared the one in Limestone County, 127 near 99. Forest and Jefferson and Athens was a no injury. And Meridian and Chase reported with injuries. May still be working to get that one cleared out of the way. Popeye's famous chicken sandwich is only $4.99. Crispy tender chicken on a delicious toasted brioche bun. Love that chicken from Popeye's, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Eck in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Who knows comfort? Well, comfort is our middle name. If your home isn't as comfortable as you want it to be, we can fix that. We service all makes and brands of heating and cooling systems, even if we didn't install them. So give us a call. Environmental Comfort Systems. Visit our website at envcomfort.com. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And just a short time ago, Greg Sankey made an appearance on SEC This Morning on Sirius XM College.
Yes.
And Greg Sankey telling the nation on Sirius XM that the SEC spring meetings in Destin, Memorial Day, would be the outer boundary of when they would like decisions regarding 8 to 9 game conference schedules taken care of. If we can move more rapidly, that would be beneficial. We've done great. He said we've done great groundwork so far. So that is what Greg Sankey said this morning on SEC, this morning on Sirius XM College, is that the SEC spring meetings and Memorial Day is the outer boundary of when they want to have decisions made for schedules.
Yeah, and as you said, they want to move quickly. They want to get this decided now that they know Oklahoma and Texas are coming to the SEC to get dominated.
And then the SEC did announce that $721.8 million of total revenue was divided this past offseason to 14 universities. Each school is going to pocket $49.9 million.
Yeah, nearly $50 million in a school. So that's why you see Nate Oates making $5 million. It's why you see Bruce Pearl making $5 million. And so many schools are investing in athletics and got great facilities. And, I mean, with Oklahoma and Texas coming in, though, just to think about how good the softball and baseball is going to be, because it's going to enhance it even more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a runaway train. It's going to become more of a mental battle because you can't get discouraged baseball or softball-wise because, it's a grind because there's going to be so many good teams. There's going to be, so much competitive balance in those two sports. And the leagues are going to be so much better than everybody else. I'm sorry, but, when you think about Oklahoma City for softball in the World Series and you think about, Omaha for the College World Series in baseball, Scott, it's going to be like the SEC Invitational. I'm sorry. I know that America's going to get mad and they're going to complain and moan and groan, but that's what it's going to be. And, I mean, we're in the era now of super conferences, and I'll give Greg Sankey and the leadership of the SEC credit for that. They certainly have made some outstanding moves, and getting Oklahoma and Texas, I think, was really good. Now, I think both their football programs are storied, but they're going to have to really step it up because it's going to be a meat grinder. But those brands are going to enhance the SEC, no doubt about it.
All right, so those are really your biggest headlines. And don't forget, it is Super Bowl in 48 hours? Yeah, Friday, Saturday, 48.
Reed Blankenship.
48 hours, we've got the Super Bowl. And Kansas City, Philadelphia. We'll get your pick here in just a second.
Wes Watkins, it's going to be great.
Yep,
I mean, all those Alabama guys, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, even Josh Jobe. I forget about Josh Jobe. He made the Eagles as an undrafted free agent. So there's a lot of ties to our state. And then Ramsey Robinson on the Chiefs side, man, and being in the front office.
All right, who do you go with real fast, Chiefs or Eagles?
Chiefs, 27-24.
I'm going to have to go Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts gets it done. I think
it's going to be a great game no matter what.
All right, let's go.
Before you go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, what are you cooking? That's what everybody wants to know.
Okay, so right now the plan is I'm going to make burger sliders.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to have burger sliders. Don't know. Bacon, cream cheese. I'm going to take jalapeno peppers, put some cream cheese in them, wrap them in some bacon, put them on the egg, and smoke them. Those are two things that I'm having right now. There are ribs out. I don't know if we're having ribs, but trust me, it's going to be a fantastic buffet of food. Wolverine Dan with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Man, you making me hungry, brother.
Well, I'm going to make everybody hungry here in a minute because we're at Bubby's Diner, and I just threw down an omelet, hash brown casserole, 2 pieces of French toast, and I'm just getting started.
And a partridge in a pear tree. Hey,
yeah, yeah.
I'm coming there. I'll be there. I'm supposed to have a show coming up pretty soon, and I'm gonna head over there, and say hello. So, hey, listen, I wanted to touch base real quick. Of course, this is the Big Ten network where I'm on the radio, of course, but I would like to congratulate my Defensive Rookie of the Year. And what school did he play for?
Yeah,
that's right. Adam Hutchinson, the NFL
Aiden
rookie, defensive rookie of the year.
Defensive rookie of the year. He had a great year for Detroit.
Well, I think that's going to hold well because what's going to happen is I think Chicago's going to trade down. I want to say trade down. They're going to pick up like a Herschel Walker trade, get a bunch of good players for their first-round draft choice, and they'll pass on Carter from Georgia, and then he comes to Detroit. Yeah, can you imagine that line? Lord have mercy. I'm telling you guys, the Lions are on the upswing. I'm stoked for this team. And you know what, Drew? It's been easy probably for you to root for Alabama because Alabama's always been really, really good. I mean, for a lot of years, won a lot of championships, but true fan is what I am. I've been there with this team ever since I was born, and they were awful. And they're not nowhere near they need to be, but that's a true fan, my friend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, certainly, I think when you look at it, there's no question that when you're from a football perspective, and I'm just talking about with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions, I think they're the most interesting and intriguing option in the offseason. If they have another great draft, they made such strides, and who knows? I mean, it was kind of considered a throwaway when they got Jared Goff. Everybody's like, they'll have him for a year and then he'll leave. But he played really well for them, and they played as good a football as anybody down the stretch, Dan, in the NFL season.
All right, Dan, thanks for the phone call. Just to tell you how weird the NFL is, Drew, the AP Defensive Player of the Year, the rookie, the AP Defensive Rookie is Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
The NFL named Adam Hutchinson their Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, both were great.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't go wrong. Aiden had, I think, about one time I know he was at 9.5 sacks.
I think
he got double figures. I mean, he had a great
9.5.
year. Yeah, and Sauce Gardner, I mean, what a great career he had at Cincinnati, not giving up a touchdown pass, and it carried over into his time with the Jets. Now the Jets just need a quarterback because they totally blew it with Zach Wilson.
All right, guys, we've been live from Bubby's Diner along Whitesburg Drive. It's been fun. It really has.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can